Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Welcome to the Secrets of a Ghostwriter. Remember, I always say we're going to deal with the business of writing, writing dialogue, word count, etc., and the business of writing. That could be agents or self-publishing, anything like that. Remember, you've got to split your brain. There are two strands. There's you, the creator, and there's you, the salesperson. Today, in this tutorial, I want to talk about your website. When I say those words, some people will say, that reminds me, I must get my website updated. There's nothing worse, is there, than seeing a website under construction. And there's no greater sinking feeling than when someone asks if they can find out more about you, you sending them to your website, but knowing it's in a bit of a botched job, half-assed state. I know this because for 7 years I was embarrassed by my website. It wasn't contemporary in its look and it wasn't up to date in the information. I think your website does 3 things for you. Number 1, it doesn't embarrass you. That's important. Number 2, it's a calling card. It's a reference for people that you've already had a conversation with. So, for example, and I'm proud now to say that you can look at mine. If people say to me, well, how does ghostwriting work? Or what have you written? I say, well, look, just go and take a look at the website in your own time. Take the pressure off them without a sort of one-to-one almost sales hustle. So I've referred them, okay? And then the third one, obviously, is people who found you because search engines have been kind. Now, in my experience, although it is really changing, if you go looking for a ghostwriter, you'll quite often end up on a self-publishing or a proofreading website. There's still a bit of an untapped market out there, I think, for looking for ghostwriters in search engines. But that's to one side. Let's just talk about your website. Obviously, and I can remember, like many people, a day when a website was not vital. It is one of those things now where if you haven't got one, you might as well not be in the game. I mean, that's absolutely clear. But you'll be stunned how many writers let themselves down by their website. And this is for 2 reasons. They've used some template that either everybody else has used or is really out of date, and they simply haven't updated that site themselves. It's a good opportunity and a good example of perhaps where you should farm something out. I think one of the reasons why people in the writing world don't really update their website brilliantly is because essentially most people aren't doing more than 1 book a year, so they don't feel they've got anything to update it with. But think of it as like a change of clothes, or a lick of paint. It needs freshening up. And why is it so important? Because it's different if you are a ghostwriter looking for work to if you are a writer undertaking a franchise of books, for example. But why would you expect for one moment that people would accept the shoddy, dated nature of your website and then accept you as a writer of a book they've chosen to spend money on? So your website has to reflect your personality, and it also, of course, has to overcome that I'm writing 1 book a year, that'll be when the next update mentality is. You've got to. Any website designer in any field will tell you this. You have to give people a reason to come back. I'm not a massive fan of building up a mailing list and newsletters because we all know a lot of those just go straight into deleted items. But show yourself the self-respect of getting your website looking as good as your writing. because before you know it, you might find yourself into one of those conversations where you are embarrassed to show people your website because it's 3 or 4 years out of date. And particularly if you are starting off as a writer or a ghostwriter, we've addressed that idea before about how do you get a track record when you've got no track record. There are things that you can do on your website, which I call the badges of credibility. Now, some of these I've mentioned in other tutorials, but I think they instantly make you look better. So if you join the Society of Authors in the United Kingdom, you'll get a widget there. You can put that on your website. Authors Guild equivalent in America, there's 2. I am with an agency in the UK and one in America, so there's 2 more. But my favorite, because it says so much, is I have a little badge on the website, which is the University of Exeter, my university, mentor scheme. So for several years, I've been mentoring a couple of undergraduates a year who want to go into publishing. And, you know, anybody can join those organizations that I mentioned, and you should. You can be on the books of an agency if they accept you. But I think a mentor scheme says so much because it says that you're giving back. 25-year-olds or students around that sort of age demographic come at you with a new hunger and an eagerness and a fresh set of questions that are contemporary to people in that demographic that you, as the seasoned writer of several decades, have probably never even considered. So, for example, that generation is going to be the first to embrace AI. My generation is going to be the first probably to keep it at arm's length. But that's the culture divide caused by the age demographic. But you can bridge that and you can help to understand where markets are going if you get involved in a mentor scheme. You learn a lot from it, you give a lot back, and it sends out a really good message, I think, as to the kind of person that you are. And on another level, well, people talk in the UK about old school ties and networks. In America, obviously, the alumni programs are massive. When you see somebody from your own university, I think the warmth level goes up, and you don't know where that network is going to expand to. You don't know if you are mentoring somebody at your old university who is going on to achieve wonderful things. There'll always be a connection between former students of universities, but as they path their own career, whereas yours may have already peaked, you might need them at some point in the future in the way that they are looking to you now. So I think those badges of credibility are really important and say a lot on your website, even if your website needs a kick up the backside. But remember, your website is an extension of you, the brand, and your writing. So the two need to both look good. I hope that helps. And I'll see you next time when The Secrets of a Ghostwriter continues.